Here I have the Victorinox Diver Pro Quartz, and this is an interesting piece for quite a few reasons. Before I get to all of that, though, this one is the titanium version with the quartz movement and is selling for $1,100. There's also a stainless steel model that sells for $800, so yes, you're paying $300 more for the titanium case. Now, there are automatic versions as well, and they come in both titanium or stainless steel. And beyond the movement, the big difference with the automatic is the crown moves from 3 to 4. So, no, you cannot get the exact same watch in either quartz or auto. Now, all of them are built to ISO 6425 specifications, and they are 300 meters water resistant. And this particular one is kind of in your face with that dark sandblasted titanium case and the yellow accents and vibrant yellow ribbed rubber strap. All Dive Pro versions are 43 millimeters as well, but you may be looking at this watch thinking it looks similar to the Journey 1884 model, and you would be correct, as this is the same case, but it also shares this case with another VSA watch. I'll talk all about that and more in this review, so let's get to it. As I just referenced, this Diver Pro case is not exactly new, as it shares the same design with the 1884 Journey model that I reviewed last year. What I wasn't aware of is that this case is used on the new Inox. Now, I discovered that when I was looking at the VSA website for research for this one, and I passed right by them. I just saw the word Inox and I kept scrolling for the Dive Pro, and then I realized, hey, these are the same case. Now, you could still buy older models of the Inox using the original case, but the newest versions use this really blocky and angled case, which means that the three different models and countless variations are all using the same case. So, the 1884 Journey, the Dive Pro, and the Inox. I find that a little odd, to be honest, and since they all use the same case, I guess you can call this model the new Inox Diver. All the specs are on screen, and like I said, you can get this model in either quartz or automatic. But beyond the movement differences and the crown at 4 o'clock, the automatic version also has a day-date complication and what I consider one of the ugliest second hands I have ever seen on a dial that is already busy. It reminds me of a road sign, and I just find it very off-putting, which is why I chose this quartz version for review. And this quartz model in blasted dark titanium with a simpler dial and a standard lollipop second hand with the yellow accents and this yellow strap, to me, is the best looking of the bunch. Now, if you don't like the look of this one and you want something less in your face, there is a black or blue dial stainless model. Those run $800. If you want titanium but you want a different dial or color, well, you're out of luck this time. The only other titanium version is this exact same dial and case, but with a paracord strap that VSA charges an extra $100 for, so it becomes a $1,200 quartz dive watch. And while we're on price, let's talk movement. Because the reality is, this Ronda 715L movement is a fine workhorse quartz movement, but you can get a new one at retail for like $30 to $40, and of course cheaper wholesale. Now, that means it can easily be repaired or replaced, and at those prices, you would just replace it if any issues. That's fine, but this is an $1,100 watch. Now, you get a 5-year battery and accuracy of -10 to +20 seconds a month, so not what one would call a high accuracy quartz, which would be more around 10 seconds a year. But what about the rest of the watch? Remember, you can get a stainless model with the same movement for $300 less, so that grade 2 titanium case is what brings this up to $1,100. And if you don't care about a dive bezel, you can get the steel inox using the same case with an automatic movement, which is either an ETA 2824 or an SW200 for $1,100 as well. Now, I will say, neither of those watches have the same look as this titanium model. The steel version is fine, and even though it's mostly brushed steel, it just looks too reflective with all those angles. The sandblasted titanium case has no glare at all, and it gives it more of that tool watch appeal. And the inox that uses this case, well, without the extreme sawtooth bezel, is just not the same. And that's where I feel that not everything is about the movement or the price, but sometimes just the look. I really do like the look of this watch, and it starts with that bezel. When I reviewed the 1884, I thought the bezel was cool with all the angles, but a little odd, and I didn't realize why until I saw this Diver Pro model. These bezels, in my opinion, look so much better without a bezel insert, and this one is much more aggressive looking. The 20-minute scale is highlighted with yellow marks. It's fairly easy to read, and even though the bezel edge looks like it could be rough on the fingers, that's not the case at all. This is very easy to turn, and it holds in place fairly well. The crown is large, as are the crown guards, and the crown is pretty easy to turn and set. I didn't expect any issues with the crown with this Ronda movement, and I didn't experience any on this example. And this dial is as funky as the case, more subdued than the automatic version, but still funky in its own right, yet it remains clean and easy to read. Those indices on the outer track are pretty damn large, and the logo is the 12 o'clock marker, which I think is cool, and it's a very finely textured matte dial. These hour and minute hands are unique as well. Now, at first glance, they have what appears to be a sword hour hand and an arrow minute hand, but if you look closer, you see the hands are framed in what I'll call a bar around them. The minute hand getting it in yellow with a tip on it so that the minute hand is really highlighted so you can easily see if tracking minutes with the bezel. Now, at first I thought these were a little goofy looking, but over time I developed a fondness for these hands, if for no other reason that they're different. These hands are used on the inox version and the 1884 Journey as well, though the minute hand lacks the arrow, and I think there is a thicker coating on the frames of the hands that just gives these a better look. This iteration of the hands is the best looking so far and exclusive to the Diver Pro series. For a few years, I've been dogging on VSA as the Lume was always one of the weakest points of their watches, and finally, they have heard me and a lot of others and given the Diver Pro Lume that I feel is close to or on par with the old Dive Master 500 series. It's dual colored, as you can see, and those massive indices light up bright, and more importantly, they stay bright for quite a few hours. If you've been wanting a VSA, but the Lume has been holding you back, the Dive Pro is at least one to consider. On my 7.5-inch or 19.05 centimeter wrist, it wears pretty much like the 1884 did, and there's no getting around this. It does have long lugs at 54 millimeters, and with the 43 millimeter width, it's not a small watch. Those lugs do slant down though, so I find this very wearable for me, and this one being titanium, it's extremely light on the wrist as the whole thing with the rubber strap is around 95 grams. And I love this rubber strap. Now it's not very long at 120 by 80 millimeters, but with that long case, it should easily fit up to an 8-inch wrist, if not more. Now, it's also less of a lemon yellow color, more of a yellow pepper color, and the vents or the ribbed strap remind me a lot of a Hirsch Extreme rubber, though this one feels even more comfortable. And it does have double keepers as well, and I could fit the strap on my wrist and have enough tongue for both keepers. A rarity these days as a lot of straps are pretty short. Now, one thing to keep in mind, these are 21 millimeter lugs, which means you're kind of stuck with a VSA strap or having to go custom. There is no denying the price is at least what I consider to be high on this watch, and like I said, I think it really comes down to the movement. I'd prefer to see these watches at, say, $800 and the steel variations at $500 or $600. Now, that said, not everything is just the sum of its parts, and I do find this to be one cool looking watch, one that is comfortable and eye catching and just fun to wear. If I'm being really picky, I could do without the text on the sides of the case as well. It's a shame this exact configuration can't be had with an automatic movement, as I would be more prone to shell out the price for an auto if it looked just like this. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Head to the comments and let me know what you think about this VSA Diver Pro Quartz. And if you own one, please chime in and give your feedback as well. If you are interested, there will be a written review, and of course, you can head over to the VSA website for more info, both linked down in the description. Like every video I ask, please take the time to like, share, subscribe, and comment on this video. It only takes a few seconds and it really helps out the channel. And if you like the content, it makes sure that you keep seeing our videos. This is Don Evans from Watch Report. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.